Today I'll be going over the Mixtec, an indigenous group of Mexico. To start, the Mixtec are an indigenous people group who resided mainly in parts of Oaxaca and neighboring regions like Puebla and Guerrero. They have had a long-standing history there, having a notable civilization in pre-Aztec and Spanish times. They have been seen having things like terrace farming, irrigation systems, and advanced architecture. The region of Oaxaca itself is made up of many mountain ranges, dividing and splitting up the land. This geographically induced isolation plays a part in the preservation of different cultures in Oaxaca, including the Mixtec. They got their name from the Aztecs, translated from Nu Sabi, or people of the rain. Around the 1450s, they were conquered by the growing Aztec Empire after a series of battles, and were forced to pay tribute. Some decades later, the European colonizers came and took the central city of the Aztecs, and quickly, groups from Oaxaca sent delegates to make alliances. Though they still came under Spanish rule, they were spared the deaths the Aztecs faced, at least deaths through battles, that is, because the Europeans brought with them many diseases like smallpox, chickenpox, influenza, scarlet fever, mumps, measles, typhoid, and diphtheria. These series of epidemics dwindled their population from 1.5 million to 150,000 by 1650. The population has since rebounded, with the 2010 census showing the number of people in Mexico speaking Mixtec languages being 490,000, with more than half of those residing in Oaxaca. Their cultures survived as well, with of course some new European introductions. Pre-Spaniard times, the Mixtec harvested many plants like corn, beans, tomatoes, squash, pumpkins, and gourds. They also gathered wild greens and fungi. They hunted deer, turkey, insects, armadillo, frogs, and iguana as well. These vegetables and animals became many's normal diet, with certain food varying from class levels. Beans, corn products, and squash common throughout most. They would also use gourds to make bowls for eating and drinking. These bowls were typically decorated or engraved. They would also use palm fibers to make tools like brooms, baskets, or hats for men. An old food that has been prepared for a while in Mixtec are grasshoppers. They've been passed down through generation and are a source of amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. They are usually caught in the fall or winter during mornings of October, November, or December, because in these times they group up into larger piles because of the cold. They are prepared by first letting them sit for 24 hours. This period of time lets the grasshoppers complete whatever digestion is happening within them. Afterwards, they rinse them in water and drain, followed by marinating them with lemon juice and salt. They then fry them till they are golden and can now be eaten with tortillas or salsa. Local superstition also states that if a tourist eats one, they will be bound to return to Oaxaca. Another belief the Mixtec have is viewing the world in which physical, spiritual, and natural elements are heavily connected. They can be sorted into hot or cold elements, and is the reason why a woman after labor may not want hospital ice chips, but rather some natural herbal tea instead. The Mixtec also make a sweet drink called pulque. It isn't noted as alcoholic, but rather a divine nectar. This drink is made from maguey, or also called agave. This Mixtec plant is used to help soil in semi-arid regions. It increases organic matter and is planted with corn, beans, and pumpkins. Planting them together helps in preserving soil nutrients, reducing desertification and moisture. The product of this drink, pulque, and agricultural techniques were passed down by codexes, a pictographical type of book the Mixtec made. While under Spanish rule, they were ordered destroyed, but still 7 remain today, carrying history and knowledge like this. This specific knowledge helps in producing food common to Mixtec diets and in adding a popular beverage to the community. The Mixtec also have many celebrations, a notable one being the Mole de Caderas. The 3-day Mole de Caderas celebration is also called La Matanza. It uses traditional Mixtec seasonal dish Mole de Caderas, which is a broth made from goat meat and vegetables. The goats, which have been raised for around 1.5 years, are eaten in the fall. A couple months prior to this, they fatten the goats up on the grass unique to the hills of Mixteca, which have larger amounts of salt and little water, giving the meat fat, softness, and juiciness. This is what gives the resultant broth its unique flavor. The broth is made from their hips and spines, which are heavily salted and sun-dried, preserving and enhancing their flavor. Along with the meat, they add tomatoes and tomatillo for acidity, green beans for texture, and guajillo and costeño chilies for spiciness. This festival contains dances and a walk where the goats to be eaten are carried on the backs of members in the ceremony. This is done to honor the goat for feeding the people. After the ceremony, the cooking begins, which incorporates new and old Mixtec ingredients. The Mixtec have had a long-standing history and withstood the test of time with some influence by other groups, but their food and techniques have been able to be passed down thanks in part to their geography, but also strong perseverance of culture.